Alright, so as of recently, I've put a few hours into modded Terraria. Honestly, Terraria is one of my favorite games. So, obviously, I got into the modding scene and I played through Calamity twice, in fact. And I think I have a pretty good idea of how good the bosses in this mod are. So, we're just gonna plug it into a tier list. We have 6 tiers here: godly, great, cool, fine, baddish, and hate. These are pretty self-explanatory and on what these are. So let's just let's just begin with the first one, King Slime, the first ever boss in generally just Terraria. I don't know about King Slime. He's not. I don't really hate him, but I don't like him either. He's not really anything special. He's just a big slime that does more damage than a normal. I'm just gonna put him in here. It's pretty boring to fight. It's just really something you need to start off your journey or whatever. It's nothing that interesting. That's really it. It's just King Slime. Desert Scourge. It's a worm boss, and all worm bosses are pretty much the same, but maybe above King Slime. It's really a tale of it's really a tale of two adventures here with Desert Scourge. You know, you can trivialize the fight with a slime mount. But if you don't have one, well, that can be a bit of a problem in the early game. But overall, he's really not that bad of a worm boss. I'll put him there. I have Cthulhu. I guess you can go on fine tier. He's the first kinda not really he's not really difficult, you know, but he's I don't know, man. He's I've Cthulhu. I really don't have any words for I've Cthulhu just because of the amount of times I've fought him. He's really not that hard, just walk in a straight line to like strafe his attacks. He could be hard the first time you get him since you don't have any means of sidestepping yet, but overall he's really not that bad of a boss. He's fine. Crabulon. I guess above I've Cthulhu Crabulon. He fires a lot of projectiles and he does a decent amount of damage actually for like as early as you fight him. And he can be a bit of a handful early game. So put him on fine tier. He's a pretty fun boss. Like, don't get me wrong, he's fun, so I'll put him in the middle. Brain of Cthulhu. I don't really like this one. This. I'd even go so far as to say I'll put him below King Slime, but honestly, I'm feeling just putting him right in between Desert Scourge and King Slime. Like, breaking through all his like eyeballs in the first phase with Jester arrows is like incredibly satisfying to do. So that's the only saving grace this guy has. His second phase absolutely garbage, though I hate it. Ether Worlds, another worm boss. I'd say above I've Cthulhu is good for him. Early game worm boss he's really not that hard. He's not that bad. He's not that fun either. So gonna place him right there. It's pretty standard worm boss. Doesn't have anything special other than that, like he splits into two and stuff, which is like pretty neat, honestly, but that's really all he has going for him. Perforators. I'll put him in here actually in like the cool tier. Just because he's a really decent early game challenge and he's like the first kinda like complicated boss that you come across because he's multiple bosses. He's like basically Brain of Cthulhu and Ether Worlds combined into one boss. It's really neat. He doesn't feel that cheap either. He's really not that hard to fight. As long as you have good crowd control and you know how to sidestep his attacks, he's pretty cool. Just why he goes into cool tier. Hive Mind. This fight sucks, honestly. It's just so... Yeah, I was gonna put it right at the bottom of baddish tier because it really has nothing going for it. It's just the first part of the fight, he just literally just stands still. Like, he just lets you hit him. And then the second part of the fight, he just circles around you. That's literally it. He has nothing else for him. There's nothing to this fight. It's literally nothing. You're fighting like nothing. So, right at the bottom of bad. Queen Bee. I'd say below Ether. Actually, no. Above Ether Worlds. Queen Bee can be a little bit annoying the first time you get to her. She has pretty high damage output, and the place you fight her in is really tiny. It's really difficult to dodge. And yeah, it's a bit of a hassle to fight Queen Bee early since you don't really have the damage to burst her down. And you don't have that much room to work with during the fight. But yeah, place it right there. Skeletron. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this guy. Sometimes I have like really bad Skeletron fights. Sometimes I have really good ones. So I'll play some below perforators. Just because he's Skeletron, you know, he's the bony boy, and I don't know, man. Do I really need to explain what Skeletron is? Like, do I really need to explain like most of the vanilla bosses at this point? A lot of you probably already know but what's up with the vanilla bosses, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. Yeah, Slime God. I put it below King Slime actually, because the thing is with Slime God, it's really a handful to fight them. There's a lot going on during that fight. Like, it's really overwhelming to do it, especially solo. There's just like so much slimes everywhere, and you need to deal with the Tide Pod looking thing. It's like zipping around your screen like constantly, and it's a really big hassle. Like the first phase, it's too much going on, incredibly overwhelming to do, especially if you don't have like a weapon that pierces through enemies. It can be very difficult to clear its slimes. And the second phase, it's incredibly difficult to hit the guy, and he stuns you for so long, and it's incredibly hard to dodge him. It's just a lot, so I'll place it down there. Wall of Flesh. I did not mean to place it there. I guess Wall of Flesh, because it can go at the bottom of Cool Tier. I honestly really like Wall of Flesh. It's really intense, especially the first time you get to him. Like on your first playthrough of Terraria, it's like incredibly intense. You just see this thing coming at you, like you don't expect that to go after you, right? And you know, like inching towards the end of your platform, because for Wall of Flesh, right, you normally build like a really long platform in order to fight it properly. Inching towards the end of that platform can be incredibly intense. Like one of my fights with this guy, me and my friends actually like ran out of platforms, so we had to speed build while fighting the Wall of Flesh. It was like some pretty intense stuff. So yeah, I put him right there at the bottom of Cool Tier. Cryogen. You know, I would love to put Cryogen at the at Cool Tier, but I honestly don't really like Cryogen all that much. He's really annoying to fight. He suffers from the same issues that Slime God has, so I was gonna place him maybe above King Slime. Yeah, he has the same issues that Slime God has in the second phase, where he's incredibly hard to hit, and honestly, it's kinda annoying to do. But I place it above Slime God just because you have like some access to some better weapons at this point, like the Daedalus Stormbow, which just completely negates all aiming. So yeah, it's right there, middle of badish tier. Twins. Honestly, I really like the twins. They're really fun to fight. They're really difficult, but it's incredibly satisfying to sidestep them. You know, there's two eyeballs coming at you, one range, one charging in, and being able to dodge all of that is really cool. And yeah, it's just there. It's the first hard mode fight you do in vanilla Terraria, so that's also one thing. Getting to it is incredibly intense. You know, you're just minding your own business, and then all of a sudden you just see in chat is going to be a terrible night, and two Eye of Cthulhu spawn in, and you're just panicking, man. It's a really intense moment, especially on your first playthrough. So yeah, top of the tier list. Followed by Aquatic Scourge, my least favorite boss in Calamity. This boss sucks. It is incredibly poop to sidestep this. In fact, you don't sidestep him. You don't dodge. Even with Counter Scarf and the iframes that you get with it, it's impossible to dodge him. Like, your entire screen is just filled with projectiles. It's like impossible. You can't no-hit this guy. And even if you did, well, props to you, man. If you can no-hit Aquatic Scourge, well, I don't know. I have no words for that. But yeah, he's a really bad fight. It's not like other worm bosses where you can kind of just like, you know, go around them and like DPS them until they die. Like, this guy just sucks. You know, sometimes his body doesn't even load in, and you're forced to like target only his head, which makes it like 10 times worse. Really bad boss. I don't like it. Another worm boss, Destroyer. I'll put him bottom of fine tier. I don't especially hate the Destroyer, but it is incredibly satisfying to melt him with Daedalus Stormbow and Holy Arrows. It's just, you just watch his health bar like just disappear, man. It's really fun to do that to him. This is really the only saving grace this guy has. Other than that, he kills all your NPCs, so be careful with your NPCs when you fight, because he can just like go straight through all your NPC houses and they're all just gonna get one shot, man. So be careful. Brimstone Elemental. I'll put her at cool tier. She's like she's pretty fun to fight, but that's really all it is, man. She's not really that bad of a fight. She's not really that hard. And she's pretty fun, so right there. I don't really have anything else to say about Brimstone Elemental, just that she's pretty fun. Skeletron Prime, I guess Top of cool tier, honestly, for Skeletron Prime. Like the first phase of the fight is pretty fun, honestly. Like with all like the arms he has, it's pretty fun dodging those, and it's pretty intense. Second phase, however, sucks. He can straight up just stun lock you. He has like godly tracking in the second phase, and it's incredibly annoying to deal with. Especially if you can't like hit him like me. Like I main ranged in Terraria. It is very difficult to hit his head when he's like going all over your screen. And when you do have the chance to hit him, he's like sitting right on top of you, and you just like take all the damage in the world. You know, it's really annoying. Other than that, it's a pretty cool fight. Calamitas clone, above Skeletron Prime, I guess. I mean, Calamitas clone is just like kinda a worse version of the twins, in my opinion, but it doesn't change the fact that it's still a fun fight. It's basically just the twins, but there's three of them. That's really all it is. You just need to sidestep them. They have kinda high armor, so you need good armor pen, but it's pretty standard fight. Put it on cool tier. Top of cool tier. Plantera. It might be our first great tier, honestly, because in my opinion, Plantera is like a really good boss. I really love Plantera, honestly, and I don't see a lot of mods doing Plantera like type bosses, because I really enjoy the way Plantera plays out. The way you can like the tentacles go out, and like he's kind of like a slow moving boss that shoots projectiles. It's just pretty cool. I really like the concept of Plantera, and I don't really see, as I said, I don't see any other mod do bosses similar to Plantera, so place him there and great. Leviathan, where can I place? Honestly, I'd place Leviathan right below Plantera, since they reworked Leviathan in a way that he kind of like moves around the screen and just like not AFK like the entire fight, because that's the thing with old Leviathan. It kind of just like sits at like 50% of your screen, like covering 50% of it, and just kind of shoots meteors at you. He still does that now, but then like he moves around now, so which makes the fight a lot better in my opinion. So place him there. Astrum Aureus. No, I don't like this guy. This guy sucks. He's just a worse King Slime because he puts like the burn effect on you or something, and he does stupidly high damage. Like he does crazy high amounts of damage, and he is very annoying to deal with. He teleports, he burns you, he one-shots you, he jumps on top of you. It's really difficult to sidestep him. It's really difficult to get some distance from him because he will just teleport right on top of you and murder you. It's a really annoying fight. I don't like it. Golem. I guess Golem. No, I like Golem, honestly. I'd put Golem above Wall of Flesh. A lot of people don't like Golem just because of the fact that he's easy, but honestly, it's a pretty cool fight. You know, like the head, like that. What's it called? Like popping out of the body and like shooting lasers at you, and like he has the arms that like punch you and stuff. It's pretty cool. I like it. It's not hard. Obviously, like everyone knows that Golem's probably like the easiest boss because you can cheese him, and honestly, it's more fun if you don't cheese him, just because the fight is pretty cool, and you're just like missing out on half of it if you like lock him in the box like 90% of players do. Plaguebringer Goliath. Nah, I don't like this one. It's basically Astrum Aureus, but Queen Bee. He burns you. He has crazy high tracking, and well, not really burn. He poisons you, in fact, and the poison does like stupidly high damage. You know, he does stupidly high damage. He does like 200 damage per hit, and at that point, you'll have like 400 HP or 500. Honestly, you'll probably have life root at that point, but he'll take out half your health with one charge, man, and the poison will take out another 100. It's really annoying, especially soloing him. Soloing him sucks, honestly. So I don't like him. He sucks. Duke Fishron. I'll put him above Leviathan, honestly. Duke Fishron's a pretty fun fight. He's not exactly that hard, but he's still fun to do. His last phase where he goes invisible and stuff can get pretty annoying at times, but honestly I don't really mind it that much. The fight itself is pretty intense, and yeah, it's just overall a fun fight. Ravager. Poor Ravager. Where can I place you? I guess I'll just place him above Cryogen. He's really not that much of a fight if you can even. Well, he just like kind of sits there and like throws down rocks at you and stuff. He's just a big damage sponge and a big damage dealer actually. But other than that, you can just like DPS him until he dies. He's really not that interesting of a fight. He really does nothing. It's kind of similar to Hive Mind in a way that he just sits there and lets you hit him like 90% of the fight. So yeah, it's the only redeeming factor is he gives you a lot of money when you kill him. It's pretty good. He's a pretty good boss to farm, but yeah, that's really his only saving grace. He's not that good of a fight. Lunatic Cultist. Place him above Skeletron Prime. Honestly, that's the same thing with Golem. Lunatic Cultist is stupidly easy, but a lot of people don't realize that he's actually a pretty fun fight to do. He's for like the short time that you'll fight him, which is probably less than a minute, honestly, because he has like no HP. He does some pretty cool attacks. Like he like flies around and stuff, and he shoots like cool projectiles, and it's just pretty cool fight. It's not the best, but it is what it is, you know. Astrium Aureus. No. No, I don't like this at all. It's bad. It's impossible to hit him. He does stupidly high damage, basically the same as Astrium Aureus, and the fact that he has high tracking, high damage, and just potato AI in general. Very bad boss. Moonlord. Below the twins. That's Moonlord. I mean, you've all probably seen Moonlord and the Moonlord fight. He shoots lasers. He shoots eyeballs. It's the final boss of Terraria. Everyone knows what it is. It's Moonlord. You know. Profaned Guardians. Maybe I... Where can I place them? Above Ravager, honestly. I really don't like them that much. They're just... I don't know. I really don't have that much to say about this boss. Same with Dragonfall, honestly. Just kind of like... I don't know. I just like melt these. These are the bosses that I just like skip through. That I don't give too much care about. Honestly, they're just there just so you can get to Providence. That's really all there is to them. You don't fight them again or anything. They're not that important of bosses. So yeah, Providence, however, can go at. Can you please? There you go. Can go at the top of the tier list. Providence is a really cool boss. It's really your first kind of like post Moonlord intense fight, and she shoots a lot of projectiles at you, and it's really fun to dodge. It's a real bullet hell boss, and it's a fun time to fight Providence. Honestly, Old Providence, however, sucked. I don't want to talk about Old Providence. Cygnus, I guess I'll just place him bottom of fine tier. I don't like the teleportation. And I don't like how fast he moves. Like again, I don't really like fast moving bosses because I play a range and it's incredibly hard to hit them. Especially with bows, man. It's impossible to hit him with bows, so place him down there. Stormweaver. I'll just place him above Cygnus. It's just a worm boss. It's just a standard worm boss. There's nothing special about it. It's just there, you know. It's just a worm boss. It's Stormweaver. Ceaseless Void, however, I even go so far as to say, yeah, below Astrum Deus, his boss sucks. You know, he doesn't have health, but he has so much orbs. If you get hit by one of his orbs, you're just in for it, man. You're just dead. There's no way out of it. You're just stunned for 10 years. He's gonna place the other 100 orbs on top of you, and you're just gonna die. There's no way out of it. It's stupid. You literally have to no-hit this boss in order to beat it. It's really dumb. Poltergast. I'll place it below the twins. Just because, as I said, I really like Plantera type bosses, and this is the only modded boss that's actually kind of Plantera type. So, yeah, props to Calamity for making Plantera style boss. It's not a lot of mods do that. Old Duke. I have mixed feelings about Old Duke. I don't really like it that much. I like Duke Fishron a lot better, but I guess I'll just place it below Brimstone Elemental. Yeah, I only really fight this guy for the gun that it drops. Really nothing else. That's all there is to him, you know. Next up though, Devourer of Gods. This worm boss is different. It's not a standard worm boss. This boss moves incredibly fast. He literally moves at the speed of light. I don't know. I'll place him above Desert Scourge. I've never fought Devourer of Gods without an Omega Core. I always play Calamity with Thorium included, and I've never actually fought him without one. So I don't know how the fight goes without an Omega Core. Just like run across the entire map and just like shoot him when he goes directly at you. I really don't know how it feels like to actually like strafe this guy and sidestep him, because that must be an actual nightmare. So yeah, I'll place him right there. Yaron. I'm a bit torn on Yaron. On one hand, it's a really cool fight. On the other, it's really annoying to farm him when you need like the souls for the what's it called, for the final set. I forgot what it's called. I know Arc Tesla. There you go, Arc Tesla. When you're farming for the Arc Tesla set, it's incredibly annoying to fight him multiple times just because he's one of the hardest bosses in the mod. But I guess he goes above. I don't know. I'll put him above Leviathan. Yeah, that seems fair. Just because if we're talking about the fight itself, it's a pretty cool fight. Finally, Supreme Calamitas. Yeah, I'll put obviously Supreme Calamitas, very top of the tier list. It's Supreme Calamitas. It's the coolest boss in Calamity, in my opinion at least. I know some people don't really think that way and think it's overrated, but honestly, it's a really fun fight. Just like the blood moons and like the death moons, are they called death moons? And then like the arena that she spawns in and the sidestepping all the projectiles, it's really fun. So yeah, top of the tier list for Supreme Calamitas, and that's all the Calamity bosses ranked. Do you agree or not? I don't know, man. My tier list probably stupid. Whatever. That there it is. Calamity tier list.